Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Where are you tuning in from? Are you working or are you playing today? I know it's a holiday for most, but I just wanted to know what you're doing, what's going on here. So welcome to those joining. If this is your first time, hello. If you're watching the replay, awesome. Be sure to share in the comments. Let us know who you are. Let us know you're catching the replay because we love all of our viewers, even if you can't make it during the live broadcast. So shout out to everyone who tunes in. Now, what is this? If this is your first time joining, this is Ed Talk TV, conversations worth having. And we talk about business, tech, and the user experience here. You can see previous episodes at edtalktv.com. I put a linked, or I should say I pinned a comment to the top here so that way you can see the link there. The official hashtag is EdTalkTV. So anytime you come up with quotes from the episode, you can always be sure to use that hashtag anywhere, really. And then also I put in the new Check with Ed monthly subscription. So that's awesome. It's so much fun and it's going to continue to grow and I can't wait. We've made some big changes to it and it's brand new, so I'm super excited about it. And that basically just takes our connection to the next level. So definitely check that out if you're at all interested in showing up and learning more and diving deeper into business and tech and Facebook Live and all of that. So there's that info. You can see the pinned comment there for more. Now, today we're going to talk about taxes. But before we do, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we cover some random news and just kind of break down some interesting information here. So be sure to not only comment, but share as well. Hey, Tammy, welcome. Happy Monday to you. I'm going to go ahead and pop you on the screen there. By the way, if you're new around here, if you join live, I can actually pop your comments onto the screen. So that's cool. And even if you're watching the replay, let us know if you are a business owner. And of course, if you have any questions about taxes, we're going to jump into that in a little bit here. But be sure to let us know if you're a business owner, or if you're thinking about becoming a business owner, and kind of what your ideas are for that, because that's what this whole show is about. So how many of you have had a chance and were lucky enough to go see the new Black Panther? We're gonna talk about some news here before we jump into today's guest. So Black Panther has been killing it at the box office. I mean, just killing it. It's been crazy. And so what's amazing is the numbers coming out. Now, before I get to these numbers, I'm gonna talk about them in a second here. But before we get to the numbers, because those of you who've been following me, we know that we're not about the numbers. Like we are worried about showing up and delivering. Everything else is just extra, right? We just need to show up, deliver what we have to offer, and then if others want to engage with it, awesome. Then we engage and we build our relationships and we go from there. We're not about the likes and the follows. We're about those quality relationships, right? That lasts over time. Well, the Black Panther movie, in my opinion, is a great example of waiting, doing the work, putting in that hard work, and making sure things are flawless, right? Like just really going through. Now, I haven't had a chance to see it yet, so I'll back up for a second. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but from what I've seen with the reviews, the interviews, and the articles that are coming out, like it's amazing. And then the whole movement around it too, and having people, show up in their amazing outfits and have dance-offs. And I mean, it's just awesome to see all of this positive energy and just beauty around it, right? And this is because they've taken their time to really make it work. I mean, people have been waiting years for this, and it's more than that, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things that it's paid, it's paid big time to take that time. And why am I telling you this? Why am I relating it to business? Because anytime that you're working on something that you're really passionate about, that you really enjoy doing, it takes time. It takes time to build your audience. It takes time to build your product, your service. It takes time for people to even know that you exist, especially if you're not going these days live, right? Like even though we go live here 5 days a week, it still isn't enough, right? Like there's never really enough exposure you can get, but you have to do something and you have to be able to understand that it takes time. You're not going to get all of these people overnight to follow you. You're not going to get all of these people overnight to engage with you. Because remember, follow is one thing, but the engagement is what you want. Let me see what Tammy has here. Marvel has been doing such a great job with their brand. Exactly. Tammy knows she's branding. I was going to say you're into branding. Of course you are. You're a brand person. And Tammy, put your official title there because I don't want to mess that up, but let people know who you are, because if we have new people tuning in even during the replay, they'll be able to see who you are. Tammy and I had a great call, I think it was last week, about branding and getting things organized and stuff. So definitely check her out and be sure to see the episode that we had last week with Tammy on there. So, it's really interesting when you shift your mindset, right? Because you could be looking at, oh, well, it's just another movie, or, oh, yeah, has a lot of hype, but maybe you're not connecting the dots. So that's why I'm talking about it. And brand strategist, there you go. Thank you, Tammy. And so that's why I'm talking about it now, is because you have to look around and open up your eyes a little bit more. Hey, Anna, welcome. And be able to see that there's dots that you can connect here. That they didn't just make the movie in a year. They didn't just make the movie overnight. It wasn't an instant success. Hey, Chrissy, or Vicky, sorry, I saw something else pop up there. And so you have to think about that and understand that it's taken a lot of time. It's taken a lot of money, energy, passion to get to where they are now, to have this out there. And then that's just the beginning, right? Then after that, after it goes live, after it launches, right, which it launched on Friday, we're going to talk about some numbers here. It launched, but now comes all of the work that comes after launching, right? Because just because you launch something doesn't mean you could just kick back and be like, cool, let's let the money come in, let's let people find us. Like, I built it, they're supposed to come, right? No, you got to go out there and do the work. You have to go live. In their case, they have to go on to TV shows like Good Morning America, Live with Kelly, The View, all of these different major ones. Those are mostly ABCs, sorry. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to put the work in even after you're done working. Like, it doesn't stop once you launch something. That's the same with your business. When you're starting and running your own business, it's a constant movement. You got to keep things moving, right? How many of you watching, even if you're watching the replay, how many of you agree with that? Like, let us know that if you have a business or not, and let us know if you your thoughts on that. Because once you launch something, you have to then promote it. And it's not just, hey, I launched this, bye. No, like, why would you? Oh, perfect, you saw the movie, good. All over the marketing, yes. I don't pay for the movies, but I did it for the culture. Love it. Yes, see, and that's what I mean. It's like, everyone has their reasons, right? And everyone's going to have different insight on it and everything. So that's the beauty of it. And you have to think about that. Like, this movie and the whole thing going around it, which can be said for any movie, right? But I want to specifically talk about this one, is that you have to look at the bigger picture. You have to go deeper and then look at the community around it and be able to understand that once you launch something, you don't have much of a breathing room, because you got to then go promote. But you can't just promote like direct sell. You have to promote in a way that tells a story, that allows you to share with people those moments on the scene. Why do you think that there's all of these behind the scenes footage? Behind the scenes footage, and then, little clips of the movie. It's to help get people excited. It's to help people see. I forget what they call them, but one of the interviews I saw where they had these little, and correct me if you guys, or let us know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but they had the little prosthetic things that they put all over the body. And I think he said it took him I want to say it was 3 hours to get them all put on individually. Can you imagine? And they were all over. And then it took a couple hours to get them off. And that's not even doing the role yet, right? That's crazy. So a lot of time, money, and energy goes into everything that we do, everything that we build, which is why you need to be passionate about it. which is why you want to make sure that it's something you are in it for the long run and that it's not just a great idea for the moment, right? Because we have plenty of those. So anyway, let me know in the comments, even if you're watching the replay, be sure to comment, share, and do some emojis there. But let's talk about the numbers real quick because they're important, and then we'll jump into today's guests. The numbers for 3 days, $192 million. $1 million. 4 days, they've shattered records at the box office. 4 days, 218 million. It's the largest February opening and the largest President Day weekend opening. It's crazy, you guys. And I'm going to share this link to an article from GMA, so that way you guys have it to read over later for those who are curious. So let me pop that in the comments here. There you go. So you have that there. But it's crazy. And, it's fun to watch it all unfold and to see all of that through there. So how many of you guys hey, Mickey, welcome. How many of you guys are ready to start talking about taxes? Now, it may not sound exciting because you're like, oh, I don't want to even think about taxes. But that's why we're here. That's why we're going to talk about it. So we are going to bring on our guest. So let me plug in here. Let me go ahead and start to call our guest and pop over our screen here. And we will get... Oh, it's a new sound. You guys, that's a new sound. See, I know, Tammy, right? Taxes. It's always funny how we have different, everyone's always updating and changing. I know, Mickey, right? Taxes, I know. It's one of those things that, we don't like them, but we have to go through and try them. And
the person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable.
Let me go ahead and try her again. She's going to give me a second, guys. So what about taxes while we wait? What about taxes are you not excited about? Like what makes it not exciting for you? And Deepa, it should come through now, hopefully, on Skype's end. Skype is like being a little weird today. I might have to close Skype and then reopen it. If not, because what's weird is Skype was having paying them. Yeah, Tammy. Let me go ahead and see. This is what happens when we go live.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after.
We're going to quit Skype and we're going to redo that. If this is your first time joining, welcome. We don't normally have tech issues, but sometimes, because there's different programs, we all want things, but nobody wants to do the taxes. That's true, Mickey. So I'm going to reopen up my Skype. So the only reason why I use Skype, by the way, for those who are curious, like why Skype, because I actually am using a program called Ecamm Live, which is amazing. It allows me to put your comments on the screen. It allows me to have this whole setup. It's fantastic. But the problem is that we have to use Skype, and I'm not a big fan of Skype. Sorry, Skype, but I'm not a big fan. And so there's been some issues. Oh, there we go. That should work because I hear a better sound. Sometimes you have to quit, and we'll talk about that. Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll kind of talk about the Skype issue, and then we'll go from there.
Alrighty. Okay, hold on. I think Skype kills me every time. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on.
Yep.
I can't get my camera to work. So.
And while you're doing that, I'll just mention to everyone. So as I was mentioning, like with Skype, it's very interesting. So the program setup that we have here, we're basically ahead of the times, right? We're like where people want to be in terms of the technology, but it's still a lot of work going on. And so what happens is you have to troubleshoot during a live broadcast, just like we're doing right now. And the hard part is like you can, that's why some of you might be afraid. Well, you let me know. If you're watching the replay and live viewers, let me know, is that what scares you? Like what scares you about going live? Because I'll tell you right now, it can be intimidating having these tech issues, but at the same time, once you do them a couple times, then you realize, okay, like you can only be as prepared as possible. Like we know all of this setup works. It's the same thing that we do every day, but sometimes there's updates and sometimes there is issues that go on and you just can't make it. So like what just happened now with Skype was when I used it and I called the first time, it made a different noise. So that was a trigger for me, but I thought, well, maybe they updated. So then what I had to do was I just force closed the app and then I reopened it and then we had it back to normal. So that's something that you can do with any of your programs. Like if your computer's not working right or your webcam or your phone or whatever, like restart it, turn it off or turn it back on and then see if that helps. So just a little info for you there. Deepa, do we still have you there?
I'm here,
okay.
But it looks like my face is frozen.
It does. Okay, let me try. Let me just see if I can do anything with my screen to unfreeze that. I'm just going to test. See, guys, this is what we do. We just test to see what happens. And let's go and see if I can get Deepa's face to be unfrozen. No, it's still frozen. Let me hang up and call you right back.
Okay, well, at least now I can pick up. So.
Yes. All right. So, you know, that's what you guys got to do. And then we just hang out and we just go with the flow. And it's great for you guys at home, right? Because then you can see that it happens to all of us. There we go. I can see you.
Okay, there we go.
Looking good.
Thank you. Well, my mobile doesn't work. I mean, my mobile works, but my desktop doesn't. So there we go.
That's odd. I wonder if Skype is just like weird with desktop because I've heard that before, and I'm still trying to problem solve. Not that it's a problem I can fix, but I'm still trying to problem solve for everyone else. When it comes to desktop, it's very odd. So go ahead and let people know who you are and kind of your background a little bit there, so that way people meeting you for the first time know and get to know you.
Well, thank you a bunch for having me on here. I'm really, really, really excited because it is tax time and it is time for all those anxiety levels to go up like one of your viewers was talking about. So my name is Deepa Ramachandran. I'm a CPA as my main day job, and you can find me at acumencpa.com. And my side job is money coach, and I'm just developing that end of it. And you can find me at deeparamachandran.com for the money code side. But I primarily work with business owners. I help them save a lot of money on their taxes. Really, really, really excited for this new tax law that is going into effect in 2018 because business owners, pay attention. It is going to be huge for you guys. I mean, something this groundbreaking and foundationally changing has not happened since Reagan. And I'm telling you, I was 10 when Reagan was around and I didn't even care about taxes back then. So seriously, this new law is amazing across the board. Every single demographic of person has something good in it for them. So really, really excited about that coming into play.
I love it. And you guys don't worry about trying to write down the links or anything. At the end, I'll have Deepa put it in the comments. So you'll have them, so it's fine. And if you're watching the replay, be sure to let us know if you have any questions and things like that. But that's exciting. So what is different about this year's tax stuff that's so exciting for all of us from what you just said?
Yeah, okay, so business owners get a 20% deduction off their profits for just one, existing as business owners, and two, for breathing. Because you got to breathe, okay? You got to be alive to get this deduction. But other than that, you just have to have a business that makes money.
Nice.
Plain and simple. I mean, how often do you just get a tax break just for being around, right? So that is foundational. It's not... Previously, manufacturing industries and stuff used to get 9% break for bringing manufacturing back into the USA. But now all businesses across the board get a 20% break on their profits. Wow. Key is you got to make money. You got to make money, right? You can't get a tax break if you don't make money. Got to make money, and two, just exist. So, I mean, obviously there's more technicalities and more details and more, limits and things like that, but that's getting too complex for now. For now, the main part is, the second thing is for corporations, big corporations, tax rate fell from 35% flat to 21% flat. Wow. So now we're competitive with the world, which means more of our companies that went outside will now come back. More manufacturing will come back. It'll create more jobs. I'm telling you, very, very exciting tax law. Yeah,
you guys, let me know in the comments, even if you're watching the replay, what you think about that, just from that little information there. I mean, to me, that makes me more excited about taxes this year. And I'm just like most of you. I'm not like looking forward to taxes, but that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't want to get political at all, but I just want to say in the current administration, someone put a lot of thought into this. And it wasn't, I think around the time it was being passed in December, we were hearing a lot about, well, we only have 2 days to look over 500 pages of law and things like that. This was not written up in 5 days. Just the way in which this deduction leads to this, brought this back, took that away, just how it all fits together. Yeah. Someone had to spend at least a year thinking about this and, putting it into code and then writing the legalese around it. It took about a year. Someone spent a lot of time on this. So it was not last minute at all.
Sure. And I like that you point that out, because you guys, that's out of my lane right there. But I love how you point that out, because what is in my lane and what should be in most of your lanes as well is mapping out the user experience, mapping things out, and the way that you beautifully said it. This led to this, that went to there, and then took this away and put that there. Like it takes time. You guys see that, how the color changed? That was so weird. Oh my goodness. So it just takes time to be able to go through and really understand that whole user experience from there. Hey, Aaron, welcome. I love that. So I'm going to actually roll down my blinds see you guys, this is what happens live. The sun just finally came out. It's been cloudy all day long, and now the sun comes out. So I'll let you take it over just for a second, and then I will come right back on you guys.
Okay, no problem. So I'm just going to keep talking about more good stuff in this tax law. So so I know I just talked about businesses, but for wage earners and for those who don't have businesses, what the government has done is they've actually, the United States is on a bracketed tax system, meaning, from say 0 to 15,000, everyone pays the same 10% rate, whether you're the guy next door or whether you're Bill Gates or President Trump, you all pay the same tax rate. Sure. So those brackets have increased and the rates on each bracket has decreased. So there's a lot of good stuff in here for wage earners too, not just business owners. And I'm being careful to point that out as well, because a lot of people fall into both categories. You may have one person who's the business owner and maybe the spouse is a wage earner, that type of thing. So and it's really interesting, the fact that when are we going to really see this though? Because it's exciting to hear about, but when are people going to be actually able to see these changes implemented on their taxes? Okay, so that's a great question. We just have the law in place. Okay. Now, the biggest thing about a law is that it's still, you don't know what you've missed, right? Yeah. When the law passes. And now is the time when all those, I'm going to call them the slightly, the more concerned parts of the accountant population who will dive into that data, dissect it from all four angles, and come up with all the stuff that's missing and all the stuff that wasn't addressed. And I don't want to go out and say crazy people, but that's technically who we're talking about. Those who can't wait for this stuff to come out so they can test it and see, does it really fit the way it was intended. And so that's all happening right now.
Okay.
So by summer, all those technicalities will be rewritten. Revenue procedures will be issued to correct all the deficiencies in the law. And I'm thinking by October or November, we'll be ready to go.
Wow.
And all provisions fit 2018. So anything that's corrected over the summer will go retroactive to 1/1/18. And that's always how tax law works. So over the summer, all the little kinks should be worked out, and we should be all set to go.
It's so crazy. And you guys, I don't know about you, but like, again, I'm not into taxes, but it's exciting to know about a little more about the research and about what's happening. Like, again, whenever you're doing something, whether you're having your website built or you're outsourcing your email marketing or whatever it is that you need to have done, you want to know at least a little bit about it before you just turn it completely over to somebody, because you get to know it. And also, like, it will help you not get screwed over in the end if you're paying money for something. But it's always just nice to know even just a little bit about it, just like this. Like, I have no intentions of doing my own taxes. I got Deepa for that. Like, we're good. And so it's like, but knowing it is what I like just a little bit, because it's interesting and it helps.
You make a great point, because that is actually my fourth point that I'm going to go over today, is you got to know a little bit about stuff. You can't, and it's not to say that you don't trust the person you're dealing with, right, but you've got to know the main point so you can take good decisions. I mean, much as I love my lawyer and my doctor, I want to know what's going on with my health. Yep. So with their advice, I can make the right decision, or I want to know what's been written into my legal contracts. So with their help, I can make the right decision. That's what it's all about.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect. So let's jump in to the top four. What is it? The top 4 mistakes that entrepreneurs make?
Yes. Top 4 most common mistakes I see. I'm not saying everyone makes all 4, but there are certain ones that stand out. But these are the 4 I see most often made, and I can't tell you which one's more important than the others. So I guess I'll just start off at the top then.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So the number one, I have my list here so I don't forget. So if I'm looking down, it's just at my list.
And I love that. Let me pause for a second and let people know, like, that is exactly what you want to tell people, right? And for those who are trying to go live, who are thinking about it, like, that is a perfect example of letting people know. Like, I tell you guys, if I'm down looking at my phone for a second, it's because I'm through Facebook giving hearts to the show. I'm pinning a comment. It's those types of things where you're talking to your audience and realizing that you don't have to be professional, where it's like nothing's going to go wrong. You guys saw, like, it kills me, the fact that I had to get up during my broadcast to close the blinds because of the light. Like, that kills me, because there was empty space, and then I accidentally flipped the wrong switch, which put just my whole background, and not what I wanted was Deepa on the whole screen. So things happen, and you just keep rolling with it. So thank you for sharing that part of it.
Yeah, oh no, you're welcome. So, and you make a great point. It's always important to let people know what you're doing and why you're doing it. So, all your attention is still on your audience.
Yes.
So, all right. So, the number one, in no particular order. Okay. So it's just number 1 on my list. Number 1 on my list is, not setting money goals. Okay, yeah. Now I want to actually clarify what this means before I go into an explanation.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about sales goals. I'm not talking about revenue goals. Those are kind of different. When I say not setting money goals, I'm talking about not deciding what you want to do with the money once you have it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that's something that not too many business owners think about. So once now you've gotten your sales, you've gotten your revenue, you've got the money in your bank account, you have some expenses to pay in order to earn that revenue.
Right.
Okay, so we're not talking about that either. Then you have some stuff left over. That is your profit. And you've got to know very clearly what to do with that profit, what you want done with that profit, otherwise it'll disappear before you know it.
Yeah.
It'll go somewhere, you don't know you have it, you'll think you made no money. So have money goals. I recommend at least 3. And examples of what money goals can be are, I want to fully fund my retirement.
Okay.
Great. Let's do that. Or my goal is to branch out into more locations, and hence I want to have money available to expand. Great. Let's do that. Or another example is, I want to keep my taxes to a minimum. So however much we're going to have to tax plan and get me deductions and breaks, I want to keep my taxes to a minimum. Yeah. See, now, me as your accountant knowing that, because that's a very important part of my job, me as an accountant knowing that helps me to understand what your goal is and make sure that I've got stuff ready to advise you with on those goals.
Sure.
If I don't know where you're going with it, we're just going to have a regular tax engagement, like going to do your taxes, going to be done with it, you're going to come back next year, get your taxes done, but that's it. We're not taking it to the next level. We're not taking you to the next level by seeing what your business can give back to you after all you've put into the business.
Which is so smart, and it's such great advice to have that part of it. And I do like that being number 1, even though I haven't heard the other 3, but I like that being number 1.
Right. Okay. All right. So yes, number 1, always set your money goals. So the second thing on my list is what I call the endless tax trap.
Oh.
So what I mean by this is there's this saying out there, and a lot of finance people use it. It's called pay yourself first. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And while I'm good with it, I'm good with paying yourself first, but we have to remember that we live in the most powerful country in the world for a reason. We live here because our tax dollars go to funding a lot of services and a lot of infrastructural items that make us the biggest and best country in the world. So it should really say pay your taxes first, then pay yourself. Okay? Because just try not paying your income taxes and try not paying your property taxes and see who really owns stuff around here.
Sure.
Government owns it. And you don't pay your property taxes for 2 years, they can just come take it away from you, whether you're paying your mortgage or not. So it really is important from that perspective to make sure that that is being paid. But more importantly, the endless tax trap that I'm talking about is this notion that pay yourself first means I can take whatever money I want out of my business and then ignore that I have this big expense. And I bring it up because I see way too many people doing it. I see a huge population, especially now in the online business world, where these big launches are now happening. You know, people have 5-6-figure launches all of a sudden. Crazy. They forget that tax aspect of it. So now you have a $100,000 launch. That tax bill is about $35,000.
Wow.
People tend to forget that.
Wow.
And then at the end of the year when they do their taxes, they get a 5-digit tax bill. They have to do another launch to pay that tax bill.
Right.
And then the new launch is now still coming up for taxes to be paid. So they have to do another launch to pay this tax bill. And it just keeps looping and looping and looping.
Yeah.
Well, that's business world. Let's go to the personal income tax world, where someone will take a distribution out of their retirement fund, not withhold any taxes, realize, oops, 10 grand tax bill. Oof. They'll take another withdrawal to pay this bill. So now you have a new tax bill on this new withdrawal, and it becomes this endless tax trap. And I've seen it enough times where people just go on payment plans. They keep adding new payment plans to existing payment plans. Not a good idea. Always know that if you have money that you've earned, there's a tax bill coming.
Right.
Just be ready for that. A third. Put aside a third of all income for taxes. Be safe. If it doesn't cost that much, no big deal. You know, then you have that money to spend, but always put aside a third. I mean, I can't give you any better advice than that. Always put aside a third.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was literally just about to ask you, like, what's a good rule of thumb for that? Because I'm that type, replay viewers, live viewers, let us know in the comments, but I'm the type where I literally am constantly thinking, okay, money's coming in, but it's going to go out just as quick, and I need to realize, like, where does it need to go and how much, and, you know, try to do the spreadsheets and try to figure all that stuff out, just because I like to know my numbers.
Absolutely. And you're really good about that. So, yeah, it It's so important. And I come up with the third because the average income tax paid in the federal range is about 20% and about 6 to 7% for states. So let's just bump that up a little bit. Make it 30, make it even, you know, and you're safe now.
Perfect. So 30%.
Yep. Set aside 30% on any income at all. So that's point number 2. All right, so point number 3 is talk to a professional before you think you need to.
Oh, I love that. Say that one again, because that's a big one. People need to hear that again.
Yeah, so it is talk to a tax professional before you think you need one. Now, there are 2 to 3 sub-points to this. So I'm going to go over each one, and then you'll hear each of the sub-points, but I'm just going to keep talking.
Sure.
So the one thing I hear from a lot of my friends, my family, and some of my clients is, so I went to a party last night, and my friend said XYZ. I'm like, okay, why are you talking to your friend about taxes? I do your taxes. You need to talk to me about it, because sometimes the things you hear are so far out there, and it's almost like they're getting mad at me. Well, why didn't you tell me about this? And my answer is, well, it doesn't exist. That's why I didn't tell you about it. Like, don't talk to your friends at a party after you've had a couple of drinks about taxes. It's just not. It's not the same. It's probably not true either. The other thing I hear is, so my barber said...
Oh, jeez.
No, don't talk to your barber about taxes either. So, talk to a professional. I know, point 2 of this would be, I know it's intimidating. I know finance professionals are intimidating. I know people in suits and, you know, the financial planners with degrees and fancy offices. I know all that's intimidating, but you know what? The newer generation of tax preparers, we're a little bit more normal. We're normal people. We're just like, you know, all of you, and all we do is we know and have gone to school, and we know a little bit more about taxes and accounting.
Yeah.
As opposed to all of you who have your own skills, and Ed, I would not even try to touch tech. And, you know, the way you do. And I know we have a branding specialist on it. I wouldn't even try talking brand. All those things intimidate me. So
right.
I am not close to perfect or anything. I just know about my topic.
Yes.
But when it comes to you guys' topics, I'm just as intimidated to talk to you about your topics as you are about money. So just, it's the same back and forth. It doesn't, I'm not anything better or bigger than any of you. So that's all. And the second thing is, and the third thing is that if it feels to you like your financial professionals are not respecting you, stand up for yourself.
Yes.
And say so. Say so. Don't let them get away with not servicing you properly just because your business is still up and running, or because you feel like you're not ready. Don't go in with those thoughts. Go in with the thought that I'm paying for a consultation and I have questions, and there's no such thing as a dumb question. Yep. Don't let them intimidate you.
Yes, I will jump in, you guys, and clarify or agree with that, because here's the thing. I've been through a couple of people who know tax stuff and who have done taxes for me in the past and everything, but I didn't have that connection. I didn't have that vibe that they got what I was talking about, that they understood that I was coming from a vulnerable spot. Because yes, I know a little bit, but this is not my lane. This is stuff that I try to educate myself as much as possible, but I don't know what I don't know, right? And so you have to feel comfortable with them, and they have to understand that you have to understand that they can't take advantage of you in that situation, and you do have to stand up for yourself. And, you know, that's one of the reasons, the big reasons why Deepa and I get along so well, is because not only does she know her stuff, I mean, you guys, she knows her stuff if you haven't figured that out already, but I can talk to her like a normal person. We have that conversation just like we're all having right now. So it's very important to do that. And again, it makes you personable, right? It's just like when we talk about going live, it brings that human aspect, it brings that real life factor versus having you be a number on a spreadsheet, right? You're not a number on a spreadsheet. Like that may be part of the equation there, but that's not you. You need to have somebody that you can actually connect with and talk to and understand.
I so totally agree with you. And I feel the same way when I go into my doctor's office. Sometimes I'm scared to ask the question. Yeah. And then I realize, no, this is my body and it's my health and I need to know. And so I'm going to stop them and ask them the questions. It's more important that I do than just leaving feeling unsatisfied. So absolutely, always step up and don't let them intimidate you. And if you do feel like you're not getting anywhere, go find someone else, because this subject is too important. It's way too important for you. It's the story. I always say your numbers are the story that your business is trying to tell you. You need to be able to read that story, no matter who you are. Read that story, your business will thrive.
And say that part again. Your numbers are the story?
Yeah, your numbers are the story your business is trying to tell you. You need to be able to read it.
Love it.
So you need to learn that language of the business, which I think is kind of like a segue into my fourth point, which is fear of jargon. Okay, so a lot of times I find that when someone's trying to talk to me, they will automatically start putting themselves down, saying, oh, I don't know anything about this. Oh, I'm so dumb. No, people, all of you guys, jargon is just jargon. Every industry has it, and I'm going to say accounting and taxes has way more of it than maybe the only industry that has more is the medical industry, right? Because no one understands that language. But accounting and taxes, we got plenty of jargon, but don't let that stop you. You should always stop the person who's talking and say, in English, please.
Yes.
And then, because I'm not saying it's, as professionals, we just kind of fall into that language and we don't even understand we're doing it. So when someone says, in English, please, that's when something goes off in my brain like, oh, they're not understanding you. Right. Now, bring it back into language that everyone can understand. Don't kind of go off into your own language here at this point. So it's a very important reminder for me, because I'm not doing it consciously. I'm not doing it to make the other person feel like they don't know anything.
Sure.
It's just how my brain runs. So it's very important. It's very important for you to point that out to your professional. But I also want to make the point that jargon is just jargon. It shouldn't stop you from understanding money and how money works, okay? So what is a profit and loss statement? What is a balance sheet? These are things, because as a business owner, you need to know, what is your brand? What kind of tech do you have to make your business run? What kind of people do you need to hire? Or what are the hiring policies? These are things that you need to know overall to run a proper business. Similarly, knowing what a P&L is, knowing what a balance sheet is, knowing what your basic tax return is all about, these are the basic things that you need to know. You don't need to go back to school, get accounting 101 and go through all of that. No, that's why you have your accounting professional. But you need to understand the overarching concepts so you can make decisions. So don't let the fear of jargon stop you. They're just big fancy words. They don't mean anything. They don't, make such a big difference to you. You do need to learn the concepts. And I'm going to tell you also that I work with a lot more men than I do women. And now, so here's my little scolding for women. Because naturally men are providers, right? They're the ones who are usually in a couple, they're the ones who are more comfortable around money.
Sure.
And women are not as comfortable around money. So naturally when I work with a lot of couples, 95% of the time I deal with men and 5% of the time I deal with women. Huh. And so women tend to be very, very intimidated around the concept of money because we're just learning how to be earners and providers. Whereas men have done that for centuries. They're more comfortable around it. They may hate it,
sure,
but they're the ones in the couple who just pick up that baton and run with it. So, the thing that I hear most men tell me is, "You're going to keep me out of jail, right?" So, yes, you're not going to jail because of your taxes, trust me. And the thing I hear from women is radio silence, because I don't talk to them that much. So right. I don't even know what they would say if they were sitting in front of me. So really, it shouldn't be something that intimidates you. It should be something that you really are trying to look. It should just be another feather that goes into your cap. Yeah. You understanding this part, and you're willing to embrace it and bring it into your life.
No, and that's a really great point. And replay viewers, live viewers, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, because I know we have a lot of female audience members, and so I'm curious, does that sound familiar? It could be you, it could be a friend, but whatever it is, I'm just curious because, I think that in general, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, or whatever. My general rule of thumb is know what's going on. Like, even if it's not yours, we'll take it to the tech level here. If I'm building a website, if you are having another designer build a website, if you have an assistant who's, creating your Facebook account for you, somebody is setting up your phone account or pays your phone bill, put in whatever example you want. But you guys, whatever it is, it needs to start with you. You need to have the keys to the kingdom. You need to have full access. Some of those things I wouldn't even outsource, like having someone else pay your phone bill, like put that on a credit card and remind yourself in your calendar and call it a day. Like, there's certain things that I can tell you, not only from my history as being a business owner, but working with business owners, even when I was at Apple, you guys, like, it would kill me when somebody came in, wanted to upgrade their phone, and didn't even know what address they used, who paid their bill, or they've never even called their phone company. And I'm just like, who are you? Like, do you know if they're ripping you off? Like, because you're an easy target. And so I really am passionate about that. And I want you guys to understand that it's really important that even if that's not going to be your job, if it's connected to you, you need to be still in control. That's my big thing about that.
That's an excellent point. Excellent point. You make a great point that a lot of these things can be automated. You don't have to actually do it every month, but know what's going on behind the scenes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you, Whitney. Yeah, she says this is good, and you're right. She leaves that stuff to her husband to resolve. No worries. This is all, I appreciate you speaking up and mentioning that, Whitney. And for those watching, it's not to, say, you're bad. Like that's just wrong. This is just to educate. Remember, it's all about conversations worth having. And this is a big one. And, this is just touching just a small portion. But now you know what maybe you didn't know, right? That many women don't actually speak up about it, that the men are handling that. And so I didn't know that. And so that's a really interesting fact. And so now it kind of motivates you, hopefully, to think, well, let me figure out a little bit about this checkbook, and let's make sure we're not going over the top, because, there's a lot of bills that have to be paid, and it's good to know where the money's being spent, because you might find that you do have that extra money to start your side business. You do have that extra money to buy a new computer because you can't use your, 1988 desktop, which I don't even know if anybody has one that still works, but, I'm just saying.
Windows 95, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's still someone out there. Taxes make me feel bad. I know, Mickey, I know. But at least now you guys know that there's hope and that it will make you feel better. I'll tell you guys, Deepa knows that when I first started talking to her about my taxes and stuff, I'm like, listen, I I'm going to be real with you. I need somebody who's going to be real with me, that gets me, that understands. I don't have $1 billion in the bank account, that I'm not trying to fork over all this stuff. Like, I'm trying to keep it low key. I have X, Y, Z. I probably can do it myself. I don't want to do it myself. Hence why I'm hiring somebody, right? Like that's what it comes down to for any of our business stuff, and personal stuff, you guys. It always comes down to that part of it.
Oh, and Ed, you know, those are great points. And I will tell you, being very vulnerable myself, I'm not perfect. Okay.
Right.
I have gone several years without having my own money goals. And I have, taken my own advice late. I always file my return last. Now, I don't know if I can ever help that because I believe I have to take care of my clients before I take care of myself. But, in the first few years of my business, I didn't pay myself because when you start a business, you can't, you have to first figure out how you're going to make a profit before you start paying yourself. So nobody's perfect. I, being an accountant and a money coach and everything, I have my own money issues. So this is not about being perfect, but this is about doing what's right. And for all business owners to know what's going on, to at least know what's going on, to know, are you profitable or not? Yeah. Are you setting aside enough money for taxes? Those basic concepts are the most important.
Yeah, well, and I love the fact too, and it's all about just educating ourselves, right? Like, just the little tips that you gave tonight are huge. Like, now I'm going to go look at my spreadsheet and I'm going to start factoring in that 30% because I think I was more at 20%. And I always like to be a little bit above because I rather have money left over than not enough. But it's really making sure that, okay, cool. Now I know it's 30% on average. So I'm going to go ahead and start budgeting that and being aware. So like, even if you guys don't have that 30% right now, it's all about being aware and making sure that when money does come in, that you factor that in now that you know, because now you're educated on that, right?
Absolutely. Yes. The awareness will make a huge difference for the way you look at it, because then you won't be shocked.
Yes.
If there's a year where you do have some revenue and you were not able to set aside that 30%, hey, you know what? Life happens. Life happens to all of us in different ways. So there's zero judgment about that. But you'll now be aware that you're going to have a tax bill coming up, as opposed to it just taking you unawares and by shock, and then you having sleepless nights about, oh my gosh, what am I going to do about this? Is the IRS going to come after me? Right. No. There's ways around everything. There's installment plans. There's ways around everything. Yeah. But that awareness will make you so much more ready to take action when the bill does come. So
it does, yeah. And that's the thing too, real quick before I let you go. Speaking of like being more aware of our money goals and like really putting them down. And I'll tell you guys, this is the first year that I wrote down 3 90-day goals, which all include money, like all of them include money. And I'm on track to have the first 2 90-day goals. They're going to be probably, I want to say, done. This is February's almost over. March, I will probably have them done by April. I want to give myself a little extra time, but that's how focused I am on them. But it's because I wrote them down and I see them every day. I look at them every day. I understand that whatever money I make today is going towards those goals. To pay down debt, to go, for a new car, all of these different things, because those are the things that are going to happen next. There's a lineup there. And so writing them down and seeing them every day is going to help you so much. It's going to change your mindset, and it's going to make you want to allow yourself to accept whatever money comes your way. And I will say, for those who are struggling with money, let us know in the comments if you're struggling with money. But even if you're watching the replay, but if you're struggling with money, I'm going to put in the comments after the show. I'll share the book that I read. You're a Badass at Making Money. I will say that book has been a game changer for me, and it's one that I typically don't read because I don't know, it's just different. And it was a game changer. So I'll put that in the comments afterwards.
Awesome. You know what? I should take a look at that. I have not read that book yet.
Oh yeah. It's awesome. Like, it's so cool. So thank you so much, Deepa, for joining us today. Any last words? I know afterwards I'll have you jump into the comments and share your links and everything, but any last words before I let you go?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Money is just money. Don't let it intimidate you. It's just another thing that, is part of our lives, just like driving and, eating, and it's just one part of our life. So don't let it take you down. Don't ignore it. Just, yeah.
I love that. Money is just money, and it's true. And that's the thing. We have to just be aware and see what happens, and just the awareness is huge. I can't tell you guys enough. Like, just being aware allows you to really understand where the money is and where it needs to be and all of that. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and I'll hang out with you guys just for a few more minutes. Thank you so much, Deepa.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Like, how awesome was that? I hope that you learned a lot from that. Those were some amazing tips that I am like, okay, now I got to go open the spreadsheet and keep it moving here. Share with me, even if you're watching the replay, share with me one thing, just one, that you got out of this broadcast, out of this show. It's important to educate ourselves and to understand that we can just keep moving forward. We just have to keep following the right people. We have to keep listening and watching the right stuff and be surrounded by those people. Thank you, Mickey. I'm glad that was good. That's the thing. I went live right before, real quick, before I let you go. I went live on my personal profile before this episode, and I, wanted to know what people were up to. What are they using today? Like, what are they doing today, I should say? Are they reading a book? Are they listening to a podcast? Are they watching a movie that inspires them? Are they, being aware of what they're doing enough to see that they're educating themselves, whether they have a business or not? That doesn't matter. What matters is that you're constantly learning something new, and that you're basically exercising, right? And be able to grow your mind and those around you. I'm grabbing the link for you guys here for the book, so that way you guys can have it. But think about that and understand that's something that you want to do. Forget pay yourself first, pay your taxes first. I love it, Whitney. Yes, exactly. Here is the book. Here is the book for you guys. But yeah, and tell me what you guys think. If you've read the book, awesome. Like, share your insights on that. I will say that I was really impressed with that book, and that was given to me for my birthday from a friend, and it's been a huge game changer. Anyway, I will let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, even if you're watching the replay. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, like you saw today, please go to edtalktv.com and fill out the guest request form there. You don't have to have a certain amount of followers. You really just need to be passionate and know something about whatever it is you want to talk about, right? We've had branding strategists on here. We've had now taxes and accounting. We've had a bunch, web design, user experience. I mean, we talk a lot about all kinds of things. So don't be shy. Don't worry about XYZ. Like, if you are passionate about it, if that's your business and you want to share it with us, please go over there after this and fill out the form. And I will see you guys tomorrow. If you need anything else, I'll jump into the comments. And there's the pinned comment that has the link to edtalktv.com, as well as the new Check with Ed monthly subscription for those who are interested. So have a great day, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And for now, I will leave you with this. Take care. This episode is sponsored by Stupid Easy. Easily create, share, and sell your online courses. Discover more at stupideasy.com.